Hello everybody and welcome to the Sports for Champions podcast. Today we are joined by Marni. Hi Marni, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So today we're going to cover a few topics and if we could, I'd like to start, how did you first get into gymnastics?
So I used to live in Margate and my mum bought me a trampoline. So I used to get all my energy out on that, go out in the garden. And then we moved back to Birmingham where I used to live. And I joined a gymnastics club. I did a couple of rec sessions, so it's just recreational, just like beam, bars, vault, stuff like that. And then one of the coaches, she noticed that I had a lot of energy, I was very bouncy and stuff like that. And she got in contact with one of the tumbling coaches and basically sent some videos of me doing what I could do already. And he took a real shine to me straight away. He helped me to progress into the NDP group. So I started doing that. That was just little competitions, novice competitions. And then I started to progress the more I was training. I was training about 3 days a week at that time, alongside school as well. And then, so I was trying to struggle with school as well. And then I started to get better and move up to higher competition levels. So I did NDP 3 and I competed at regionals and then I won. And then at nationals, I was national champion. So then we had time off obviously because of COVID, and then I had an injury to my foot, I broke my ankle. So I had time off of that as well. And then we moved to Northampton to look after my mum's sister, my auntie. And then when we moved back, I just had this sudden urge that I really wanted to go into elite. So I started working hard for that, and then I went to Spring Series 2. And I fell on my face twice.
Oh no.
I'd only been training for a month, but it was just to try and get back into it. So yeah, fell over. And then we got back into it, I started working really hard, and then COVID happened. So it's every time I started getting somewhere, it kind of just got stopped. And then after COVID, I wasn't on GB squad at the time, and the people who were on GB squad could already train through lockdown, and I wasn't able to, so that obviously lit a fire in my belly, and I just wanted to get back in the gym. And then I got back in the gym and I just started working really hard. I had set my eyes on the goal that I wanted to go to British, and then that turned into wanting to go to Worlds. So I just worked really hard, tried to get all the stuff that I needed to do, the trials, the camps and stuff. Went to World Trial. It wasn't my best performance. I did a straight back instead of full straight, which is a lot lower difficulty than what I should have done. And then we went to British and I just had a new attitude. I was ready to do it, and then I became British champion with 2 of my new runs that I put out, and then I got selected for Worlds, and then it kind of just went from there. Got selected for Worlds, went to Worlds camp, and then we flew to Worlds and came 11th in the world.
Wow, that's brilliant. So you talked quite a lot there about hard work, and it sounds like you've kind of been through it a little bit. You've had your ups and downs of it.
Yeah.
If I could, when you first started out, did you have that athletic talent from the very beginning?
As I said, from when I was little, I was already very bouncy. I was bounced off the walls, doing flips here, then everywhere, walking down the road, in the shop. That's why my mum wanted to get me into gymnastics, so I could channel it into something. And I was sure that I could progress in what I wanted to do, but I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't even know what tumbling was when I first started gymnastics, and that was at 12. So I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And then as soon as one of the coaches, Lucy, she sent that video, it made me think that I actually did have a talent, and then it just progressed from there.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you were you good at any other sports, or was it just, have you been totally gymnastics?
I did athletics for a little bit, just in school in the West Midlands, and that was about it. But gymnastics has always been my life. Tumbling, that's it. Shit.
And you said about that video. I've seen that video. We'll maybe pop it onto the screen for people to see.
Yeah.
Is that the first moment where you sort of realised that I could really make a success of this?
When I first started, I literally just did the one thing that I learnt how to do was some flicks, which is one of the lower level skills. Obviously we still use it now for to build up towards our end skills, but that's the only skill that I really had, and a front somersault. And then I think it was just when she noticed that I had that talent, that's when it made me think. So yeah, that was about it.
Also, you talked quite a bit about injuries there. I imagine just the impact alone of your sport looks like it could do some damage over time. Is that something you struggled with already?
So when I broke my ankle, it was just was kind of just a freak accident. It wasn't from like wear and tear. I kind of just landed wrong in the wrong space. I didn't measure my marking right, and I was just on my toe, and it kind of just rolled. And then that had me out for, I was in a cast for 4 weeks, and then a boot for 4 weeks as well, I want to say. And then obviously it's just getting back into it, like rehab, learning how to run properly again, like just trying to get back into it. And then I had Osgood Schlatter in my knees. It's like fluid build up at the bottom of the kneecap. So then I had to quit because of that. That's when we moved to Northampton as well to go and look after my auntie. But it's like, it's going to happen in tumbling. Like, it is a hard track. Like, it's a lot of work and a lot of pressure on our knees and our body and our feet. So there is a lot of injuries that comes with it, but it's worth it.
How are you when you come back from an injury like that? Is there a different sense of fear around it? Because obviously you've got to have a lot of bottle.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of scary, but if you have the motivation and you really want to do it like I did, I knew that whatever happened, like that's where I wanted to be going to Worlds. So I kind of just pushed the fear to the side and just got on with it. And then, touch wood, I haven't had anything bad since then, really.
Yeah, because you're a young guy, obviously. So it's your body's still in a bit of a development phase. Yeah. Have you noticed that sort of changing over time? Are you starting to get stronger?
It's the more you grow, obviously I'm quite tall, the more you grow, a lot harder it is. There's a lot of shapes that you have to make in gymnastics, especially like in tumbling and whips. We have to have our shoulders down and our legs through. If you have long legs, it's harder to obviously get your legs through. So the more you grow, the harder it gets, but you just adapt and like overcome, and it gets easier with time. The more work you do, it gets easier.
Because obviously you're in the juniors at the moment. Will you be one of the tallest by some margin, I'd imagine?
Yeah, I think when I was standing like on the track at Worlds, I think I was like one of the tallest.
Yeah.
But and like we have to do a line-up at GB squad as well, and I'm like nearly at the top, unless Jay like tries to push him.
Yeah, on his tiptoes.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there somebody who motivated you? I know you came into it, you've kind of explained how you sort of built up through the ranks. Is there somebody that sort of motivated you, or somebody you look up to in gymnastics?
Yeah, my coach Josh Hunter, he used to do gymnastics as well. He's been to Worlds, he's been to like the British and everything, and for him I like always looked up to him, and then for him to be my coach, it just like made it extra special to have someone who's already been through what I'm going through now, like with injuries and stuff. But he's definitely been my motivation. He's always been there for me. Yeah, he's just the one that's kept me going this whole time.
So we talked a little bit about how hard you've had to work, and a little bit about the talent. How do you see the balance between the two of those weighing up?
There is a lot of people that are just naturally talented. They can throw a new skill and it'll be like perfectly easy. They'll land it first try. For other people, it takes like a lot more of the technicalities of it. I'm one of the people where I'll throw something and I might not land it, but then I'll just work it loads from after those. I think you just have to do the first one to get it out of the way. So there is a balance between talent and hard work, but you have to put in a lot of hard work for tumbling. Like, obviously some sports you can just be talented and that will get you along the way, but for tumbling, if you don't have that hard work and you don't have the work ethic, you won't get anywhere, because it's like a really hard field to get into, and definitely a harder field to stay into, especially with like being a GB gymnast. There's a lot of boys that are like I'm competing against, so you've got to put the hard work in or you won't get there.
So how often are you training at the moment?
So I've moved gyms. I train at City of Birmingham now with Jay. I train on a Monday. Each session is 3 hours, so I do about 12 hours a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. I have the weekend off.
Oh, that's good. And are you eating healthy?
Yeah.
All the time?
I wouldn't say all the time. I'm a veggie now as well.
Okay.
So like I've been trying to eat more healthy. I eat a lot of salads. Been trying to put on a bit more weight as well to help me get down the track even more. So I do eat healthy, not all the time, not on the weekends, but I do try and eat healthy, yeah.
And how do you find the transition into vegetarian diet? How's that been?
It was, well, my coach, one of my coach's friends, Charlotte, she is a vegetarian, and she like influenced me to be a vegetarian, and I love it. I think it's great. There's like a lot of alternatives, so I enjoy it, and it's encouraged me to eat a lot healthier as well.
And do you think that the life of an athlete is tough compared to other professionals?
Yeah, definitely, especially like alongside school and going to college and like education and just having a normal social life. It is really, really hard.
How have you found balancing it with schoolwork?
School, it was okay the more I got older. When I was younger, I was like, obviously, as I said, I was very like bouncing off the walls all the time, so I did get into a bit of trouble at school just because I was very like active. I never knew when to like be quiet. I was always doing something. And then gymnastics, like, it is a really disciplined sport, and it really helped me to like stay more grounded in school and work harder. Like, my coach always said, if you're not getting these grades, you're not coming to gym. So like, it encouraged me to get the grades that I needed to do to come into gym, and then it paid off in the end.
So you're 16 now.
Yeah.
And so you've left school.
Yeah, so I left. Yeah,
totally
left
all in on gymnastics. How was that decision?
So I went to college. I was doing law, psychology, and criminology. I thought it's what I wanted to do. It wasn't. I went to Worlds. I was surrounded by like all different coaches from other countries as well. I already do gymnastics coaching on the side already, like on the weekends, and I just know that's what I want to do now. So I've left college. I don't do law and that anymore because that's not what I want to do. I thought if I'm going to do something, I need to enjoy it. So I'm working at another job working with disability children as well, doing sports coaching and then gymnastics and then this. So I think I'm like on the right track at the moment.
That's brilliant. Is it that Worlds performance that really tipped the balance for you?
Like I worked hard to get there, but then after that I was like, I want to keep coming back. Like, that's not going to be my only chance to show like the world, really. Like, we compete at national competitions and that's it, but Worlds, like, I want to go back. I want to meet all the coaches. It was mainly the coaches as well, like speaking to the USA coaches. They like really encouraged me that it's a good job to get into, and like my coach and the GB coaches, it's like more of like a family, so like I really enjoy it, and that's definitely what I want to be, going into like a national position.
Do you have a favourite sporting hero outside of gymnastics?
Do you know what? It's not outside of gymnastics, it's outside of tumbling, but Claudia Fragapane. I really enjoy her, she's really good.
Why is that?
She's just like, she's so small and powerful. She's how I want to be. She's so powerful, she's so confident. I just love her.
And do you have a favourite sporting quote?
Yeah, the best do the basics better. That's just the one that's always in my head. It's very true, the more you go back to the basics, you've always got to circle back to the basics if you want to keep progressing.
And specifically within tumbling, what would be the basics that you need to refine there?
So we've got end skills, so like full straights, full in straights.
An end skill, that would be the finishing
That's
move.
like the last skill, the one that goes all the way up, the one that everyone's like, wow, that's the main skill at the end. So you've got the skills in the middle, so you've got whips and flicks, unless you're working transitions, which I am. You can do a double straight transition, full in straight, full straight. That's in the middle, and then you have the big skill at the end. So the skills you still want to refine is like the flicks, the techniques you've got, the whips, the round off, making sure your hands are turned all the way around. You've always got to go back to the basics, or otherwise it won't flow properly.
It sounds quite complicated when you talk about it like that.
Is.
How do you make it fun? Presumably it is.
It is. I love gymnastics, obviously, because I've done it. That's what I wanted to do. The build up to competitions is very stressful, but you can still play games like stick it. That really helps with the basics as well, because at the end of a pass you want to try and stick it, so you want to land, you don't want to take any steps, you want to just land and stay completely still. So you can play games like that with all like your end skills. You can make it fun, especially when you're with people that you enjoy being around, like in the gym. My best friend Mia, I train with her at City of Birmingham, and then Jay. So it is fun. You make it fun, the coaches make it fun, and then it's just a little bit stressful before competitions, but that's about it.
Yeah, the pressure comes in.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And is it quite competitive in training?
I don't compete against, there's nobody that's in my age group that I compete against. Now I've moved into 17-21, I'm against Marcus. It's not competitive. Like, when we go to GB squads, we're like, well, you're doing this and I'm doing this. That's it. It's not competitive. We all love each other. Even in the age groups, it's not really competitive. We're all really close friends.
You said there's extra pressure around the competition times.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Is there any little coping mechanisms that you developed?
Music is mine. I always have my AirPods with me. Actually, before Worlds, I left my AirPods before we got on the flight.
Oh no.
So I had to buy some like cheap £15 ones.
Yeah.
And I just use them on the floor. Music is like, it helps me. Especially, I just Nicki Minaj, Beyonce. Those just what gets me through. I think music's the key. Some people like have rituals or whatever that they'll do. I just listen to music, stamp my feet on the ground, that's about it.
So you're looking for the tempo to get you excited.
Yeah.
So it's more about getting you up and excited rather than calming yourself
You just
down.
want to kind of distract yourself from the pressure that actually is. On the world stage, that's like one of the biggest competitions that tumblers have. So it's obviously really stressful. So I just sat there and listened to my music, and it just makes it a lot better.
Yeah. How does being an athlete make you a better person?
Like I said, the discipline, it makes you realise that there's not a lot of things that you can take for granted. Like, a lot of the stuff I do, people wish that they could do. I think it makes it a lot better, like, you appreciate things more. When you can go out with your friends, obviously we don't have a lot of free time. I mean, I don't anyway, because I work on the weekends coaching, so I don't have a lot of free time. So when I go out with my friends, it just makes it a lot more meaningful, because it's not all the time that you can.
And is there anything in tumbling that you feel translates into real life, or real life into tumbling?
Yeah, just the hard work that you have to do. Obviously, even if you're not a gymnast, if you do any other sport, or you don't even do a sport, whether it's like academics or like art or something like that, you always have to put the hard work into what you want to do. You're the only person that's in control of how far you get in life. You've got to put all the work in, you've got to put all the effort in, and if you do, then obviously it will prosper in the end.
And is there anything that you gave up to pursue it? Is there something that you miss in particular?
Just going out with my friends. I think I'm at that age where, like, I want to be out with my friends, but for me, tumbling comes first always. I've worked too hard to get to this point, so I'm just going to keep it going, and then, you know, when I'm older, I can go out with my friends, go on holiday and whatever, so I can just deal with that for now.
And is there any advice that you'd give to young people who are thinking about maybe getting into, well, sport more generally at first?
Definitely don't think that how old you are, like, can stop you from getting into a sport. A lot of people get into gymnastics or any sport at a young age, like 4, 5, 6. Obviously, I didn't get into it until I was 12. I didn't start gymnastics until I was 12. And I've got quite far in the space of 4 years, so obviously I'm 16 now. So I don't think that there's any age that will stop you from going into the sport you love. If you work hard, then you can definitely do it.
And then is there anything specific to gymnastics that you'd advice that you might give?
Not really, it's literally the same thing, because especially in gymnastics, even in artistic gymnastics, there's a lot of pieces that you have to do, so they have to start a bit younger, is what's said. But yeah, definitely don't let anything stop you getting your way. I think you got to do it.
Is there anything you would focus on in particular, maybe like flexibility or something like that?
Oh yeah, make sure you're flexible, make sure you do a lot of conditioning. My coach Josh, he's very hot on conditioning. It really does help strengthening your body, helps you stop getting injured, especially your legs. Like, there's a lot of injuries you can get if you don't condition, just because it's a lot of impact. Like, you do 8 skills going down a track, like, how many times every day? So it is hard. You just got to keep on top of conditioning, make sure you're fit and strong. That's it.
So a little bit about what you've got coming up for the year. I know you've got a jam-packed year with the juniors. What sort of stuff are you looking forward to?
So I've got, now I'm 16, I've made the senior GB squad, but it's just like provisional until May. So I'm trying for senior Europeans. There's kind of, the spots are already there, but I'm just trying for the experience, because I haven't done that many competitions, obviously because of COVID, and now I'll be competing senior at British. I'm trying to get the experience ready for like the competitions. So we've got Euro trial, and then Spring Series 1 and Spring Series 2 to qualify to British. Then we've got national age groups and British championships, and then world trial, so trying to get onto the world's team, and then at the end of the year, probably around October, November, we'll be trying to make that world's team and then fly into worlds in Bulgaria.
So where do you see yourself ending up with this? What's the end goal?
The end goal is definitely to maybe go to the World Games, so that's every 4 years. It's like the biggest competition that we have in tumbling, so I'm going to stick with it and hopefully go there. If not, senior worlds, obviously because I'm junior now, senior worlds, and then provided maybe hopefully one day tumbling gets into the Olympics, maybe going to the Olympics. That would be like the top dream.
I've read a little bit about that. I see that there's talk already of it going into the Olympics. I feel like it deserves a spot there. What do you think?
There's a lot of sports, not to diss any other sports, there's a lot of sports that aren't as, you know, high impact as tumbling. We've got trampolining that's already in the Olympics, so I think it'll be a good addition. I'm pretty sure I think it's true that there's only 3 disciplines in gymnastics that can be in the Olympics. So you've got rhythmic, and then artistic, and then trampolining. So it means that one of them would have to go for tumbling to be in there. I hope so.
Yeah, unless they change the rules, I guess.
Exactly, yeah.
It does seem like one of the most exciting sports to watch. I mean,
I'd say so.
People it's definitely one of the most sort of regularly going viral in terms of just like on Instagram and Facebook, you do see a lot of it. Is that something that the social media side of things, I feel like that could elevate it to a point where it gets enough notoriety that it kind of has to be.
Definitely, there's a lot of people that are like trying really hard to get tumbling in the Olympics through like social media, but we'll see. Obviously, social media does help a lot.
Going back to last year, you competed in the Worlds. Was that your first Worlds?
Yeah, that was my first Worlds.
How did you get on? How did it go?
It was good. I was obviously very stressed, popped my Nicki Minaj in, and then I felt a lot more calm, got onto the competition floor. I wasn't too stressed. I was in the first group or the second group, so I watched another group go before me. And then I started to feel really comfortable. I felt like at home, all of like Team GB sitting up in the stands, like shouting, go on Marni, like it just felt really comfortable. I felt really confident. I knew I'd done those runs how many times, even 2 weeks before at World Trial, even the day before in the training session before at podium training. So I kind of just pushed all the doubt and the negativity out of my mind, and then you just have to go for it. And then I went for it and landed 2 runs on my feet. That's all I went to do. I didn't go to make finals. I didn't go to medal. I just wanted to land 2 runs on my feet, like I'd done throughout the year. And then that's what I did. And I ended up with 11th. So I was pretty happy with that.
That's brilliant. Well done. So we like to end these by asking, do you have a favourite mantra or a phrase that you might repeat to yourself?
Every time before I compete, I stand at the top of the track, I put my hands out and I say a quick little prayer, just so that I stay protected on the track and I do what I need to do. And then I say, go for it, that's what I say in my head, and you just run and put everything that you've got into it.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
It's alright.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we'll see you again soon for some more Sports for Champions fun.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hi guys, hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you did, be sure to leave us a like and a subscribe, and check out all our other videos for some more great interviews and content. Bye.